revelation of God in man. That's what this revelation is all about. It is not about Jesus coming back down here and putting his foot in somebody's behind. However, there is a power coming. You know, don't make light of the spiritual fact that there most definitely is spiritual armies, you know, that are going to do something about this dumb stuff down here. So, and that's real. But the Christian preacher has given to our people the hopeful intent that Jesus somehow is going to come and solve all of our problems, where all the tears will be wiped from all of our eyes, and we will be happy down here. And heaven will come out of this, you know, all of this stuff from outside of man has been the articulation of the Negro Christian ministry. Well, what this book says is that take all of this information and internalize it. Your Christ is within you. Your God is within you. Your heaven is within you. That's what the book of Revelation is about. And the various stages of your spiritual development as you become, amen, the hidden God. That's what this book is about. The revelation of the hidden God within yourself. But the key is to get still and get into yourself with the expectancy of having your divinity revealed to you by your God within yourself. That's the real work, the real revolution, the real Armageddon, the real jihad. Is the war within, and you are designed to win it. Another important psychological factor that has not been thoroughly promoted among the African in this country: you are designed to win, to rule, and to master. That's your nature. It's no phenomenon if a black man steps out and says he's God. He simply has done what he's supposed to do. You see. So when Father Divine announced it, he scared a lot of Negro preachers. You know, they threw him out of the church one day. But he wasn't jiving. Divine had raised up to G.O.D. He was there, but he had a mission. And unfortunately, it did not include writing. He did not provide a literature. There are 7 trumpets sounding off in Revelation. The sound of the trumpet is a particular spiritual frequency of the Word of God that may vary with those words that we've already dealt with. We're going to review these today. There are 7 octaves of spirituality in the level of consciousness of sound that open your chakra. Each chakra has a spiritual octave, a particular musical sound, where it reads of peals of thunder. That would be the Tao. The Tao sounds like what the physicists have located to be the Big Bang Theory, like an explosion. I've heard it inside. And it sounds like an explosion, and it looks like an explosion. Then the harmonics begin, the music of the chakras. The real music is within you, is in your spiritual nature. Those are the sounds. The information listed under those trumpets are in reference to each chakra. Okay. Turn to Revelations chapter 2, verse 8. Anybody got the Bible here? All these American Negroes, they don't buy it. It's a good thing the Bible can't save us, so we'd be lost right now. Okay. Well, write down Revelations 2, chapter 2, verse 8. And to the angel of the church in Smyrna, write. Let me do this before you get into it. Located at the pit of the stomach, they that say that they are Jews and are not. This is what a Jew is. There are 12 spiritual centers in your body that shine like jewels. They are real jewels. We are just playing with the result, the artifact, because the ones we have no power working through them. These in your body do. But those who say that they are Jews and are not, but are of the synagogue of Satan, of the centers of death, those physiological organs, nerve centers, ganglionic centers in the body that have been damaged, that are deficient, that are secreting pollutants instead of healing chemicals. Those are the synagogues of death, deceit, of pretense, that they're keeping you healthy and they're not. That they're raising up your consciousness and they're not. That they're balancing your body fluids and they're not. And that doesn't mean there ain't no devil out there, because he sure is out there. You know, but he doesn't have power over you if you don't give him power over you. The problem is the black ministry and the white ministry has given the devil power over the Christian to keep the Christian coming back to church. And one minister said, if it wasn't no devil, there wouldn't be nobody in church on Sunday. Folks get up and go, most folks get up and go to church out of shame, embarrassment, fear, regret, and remorse. Not out of love. Until they find love in their own heart. Refers to degrees or steps in the perfecting of the individual. Refers to degrees or steps in the perfecting of the individual. There's a period of development where you will suffer. There's a period of development where you actually must die physically to be moved to a spiritual plane or spiritual life. But it's simply the real you leaving your spiritual house, your physical body. That's all it is. But we have the belief in death, that we are going to die, because we keep seeing we in the mirror. Okay, that ain't we. That's the body. And there's a difference in consciousness when you come to this realization that you're in your body. I was walking up the street one afternoon and stopped in front of the arcade, and I remembered I was supposed to get something, and I turned around, but my body was facing that way, and I had turned that way. Just Spirit letting me know something, that you're in the body. That's the whole idea of the statement, be in the world, but not of it. If you're attached to your base chemistry, then you're enslaved to your physical body. It is your master. You have to feed and service it. But when you become detached, then you master your physical body. At that point, you have the power of your own soul and access to the spiritual faculties of your body to use in your world to change it, to transform it, to command it, and to rule over it as G-O-D. That's what we're supposed to do down here. Okay? Revelations chapter 5, verse 1. And I saw in the right hand of him who sat on the throne a book written inside and on the back, sealed up with 7 seals. Where's my chart up now? I got it here this time. I didn't have it last week. So that we know what we're talking about when we talk about the 7 seals. What is going on in heaven is going on within us. We understand that heaven is for us our mind, and the earth for us is our body. The new heaven and the new earth that John sees is a new mind, the mind of God. A new earth is a spiritual body, the body of Christ. So we know that we're talking about the inner man, the inner being, and inner nature. Okay. As long as you keep that point, you can't get drawn out by somebody trying to transpire and look like something in Revelation. Every time an earthquake happens, some preacher gets upset, and now the end has come. And he can do 3 hours on earthquake, then 6 months later another earthquake, So that we are not left ignorant, because ignorance feeds fear. Ignorance feeds fear. And fear, of course, is what kills us and somebody else. Very important to understand the significance of what keeps us off balance and keeps us limited. That to get fear out of consciousness is to leave room for one power that we keep seeing in our world that is missing. That's the power of love. And to the angel of the church in Smyrna write, the first and the last, who was dead and has come to life. If Christ is immortal, all-powerful, divine, and God, how can Christ die? The awareness of one's self as human is dead to the Christ consciousness. If one is not aware of God in him or her, they are dead to the divinity within themselves. The whole idea of Peter shaking Jesus in his boat is the idea of Peter waking Christ up in his boat, his vessel, his ship, his body. For him, his Christ was asleep in his body, in his consciousness. For John, his Christ was dead, if we want to use the analogy, as if we are unaware of that power, of that divinity, of that intelligence within ourselves. The spirit can't die. We become unaware. For us, it is dead. For us, it does not exist. That's the only clear interpretation of that. In reference to Jesus speaking here, it's not Jesus speaking here. It is the Christ, the God within, that is speaking. That needs to be known in order to separate the religious story from the spiritual message. We're talking about nature, the Christ within each one of us, God within each one of us. I know your tribulations, your poverty, and in parentheses, he has, but you are rich. When you come to the realization of the jewels within your nature, of the gold and silver in your nature, of the power in your nature, then you are rich. But on the exterior, we have the appearance of being poor. And as a people, we have been proceeding as if we are poor. We've been making the psychological assumption that we are poor, that we do not have, we can't afford, that we don't own, that we don't control. That's what we've been doing. Just The reason we know that because every time something happens, there's this white man, he got every damn thing, he got it. We give him credit for everything. We're giving him power, giving him credibility that he doesn't even have. And you got to give him integrity if you acknowledge what he's doing as being superior to what you are not doing. The realization brings about a clarity of how much power you really have. That's one of the greater benefits of self-realization, of self-revelation. You discover how much power you have and how much you can change your world rather than waiting for somebody else to change it. That's what most black folks are doing. Waiting on somebody to give them a job. Waiting on next year's model of car to come out. We're extending the credibility and the power outside of ourselves. In your spirituality, you bring all of that within yourself. And that's work. You know? Because we got all of these trip hammers back here that keep telling us just the opposite. Until we experience power, until we gain an inner experience of who and what we really are, then something clicks. And you know, you don't have to believe. You come to that point where you know God is within you. Power is within you. And at some point, you know that you're God. It'll scare you the first time when you come to that realization. But as you grow into it, growing up, it becomes more real and more real. I know your tribulation and your poverty, but you are rich, and the blasphemy by those who say they are Jews and are not, but are a synagogue of Satan. Do not fear what you are about to suffer. Behold, the devil is about to cast some of you into prison, that you may be tested. Circumstances, limitations, those are part of your spiritual experiences. And they come in the most subtle of ways. You affirm, you meditate, you gain this sense of faith, this sense of love, you feel love in your being, and then somebody walks up on you. Hey, bro, can I get a good call? Man, get that. You go off, where's your love? What happened to your love? Then the inner experience, or where your spirit will hold you still and take everything from you. You won't be able to feel nothing. No joy, no peace, you'll be a dead thing. And all you do is pray your way through it. Won't even let you meditate. You get tested. Spirit reach in and grab your colon and yank it up. Yank it up. I'll just give you some idea of what goes on, because you're going to suffer, because you're being changed, transformed into another kind of being. Like the one writer said in this one book, this is a strange experience to have your organs pulled all over the place and rearranged. It's another nature coming out of the same nature. But it's your higher self, quite different from what we seem to be now. You really can and are supposed to overcome death down here where you cannot be killed. Because that is the best experience they have. The best one is don't be there when they're doing the killing. the best divine guides you get. But to have the power over the things that harm human beings, it is another level of spiritual power. Where the gun just won't work. Or the dude forgets where he put his knife. He can't find it. He can't find his, or he runs up on you and he forgets what he came up to do. That's power. That's Godhood. Standing in in the face of what appears to be danger. That's a real black woman and a real black man. That's master, able and noble. That's what we're trying to do. The chakras help get us there. Why they are so important. They help to get us there. Because the harmoniously functioning and open third chakra creates a feeling of peace and inner harmony with yourself, life in general, and your place in life in particular. You can accept yourself completely and also respect the feelings and character traits of others. You possess a natural capacity to accept your feelings, your wishes, and what you experience in life, to see them in the right light and recognize them as a necessary part of your development. Thus, you can integrate your feelings, wishes, and experiences in such a way that they lead to wholeness. All your actions are automatically in harmony with the cosmic laws of natural balance that apply to the entire universe and all human beings. When your actions contribute to the development of spiritual and material riches in both yourself and your neighbors, you're contributing to overall evolution. You are full of light and energy, and the light within you also envelops your body. It protects you from negative vibrations and radiates into your environment. If your inner eye chakra and your crown chakra are also open, along with the third chakra, your wishes are fulfilled spontaneously. I'll read that again. If your inner eye chakra and your crown chakra are also open, you recognize that all visible matter consists of varying light vibrations. Your wishes are fulfilled spontaneously because you are so closely connected to the energy of light in all things that you attract everything you are in search of. In other words, when these three chakras, here, and here, are open, anything you so desire, you can have. I'm talking about while you're on the earth. We got to get out of the way this learned thing that you earn your living by the sweat of your brow. That is what the spiritual path is saying. If there is an inheritance to be received. Now, Drew Ali told the earlier African Americans in the 20s that every black man and woman as Moors were to receive $1 million in this country. And since then, you've seen a rash of growth of black men and women who've become millionaires. That was his prophecy to the Moors in the Moorish Science Temple in the 20s. The level of mind that you develop allows you to contain that which is yours. If you have it on the mental plane, it must manifest on the physical plane. That's the law of mind. The psychological assumption automatically provides the means to fulfill the dream desire. When these three major chakras are open, they work together to harmonize the energy of your consciousness so that you can mold a thing not only in the mental picture but also in the energy form on the mental plane. That's where you come as close to mental magic as you get. So the chakras being open are very, very important so that the power of the astral body, the etheric body, and the body of light can work through it. We haven't gotten to the soul yet. So don't get caught up in the pictures. The information is good, but what is better is the spiritual practice itself. Do not fear what you are about to suffer. Behold, the devil is about to cast some of you into prison that you may be tested, and you will have tribulation 10 days. Be faithful until death, and I will give you the crown of life. The crown, spiritual crown, is multiple and varied in what that concept means, but the major meaning of this word is authority. You can have power and no authority. Okay? But you can't have authority and no power. You got power now. But do you have authority? And if you do, over what? Your spiritual crown gives you authority with your power over the earth, which is your body. And then your bodies, as you go up higher. Power over the physical body, then power over your astral body, then power over your etheric body, then power over your body of light. You have the power over your body of light. You can extend your ray of light all the way across the street. You can reach out and heal anybody with it when you have power and authority over your light. And that's what you are. G-O-D. And we're supposed to be able to demonstrate and express that in this life. Not when you die, go to heaven. Ain't nobody in heaven sick. Ain't nobody in heaven poor. Ain't nobody in heaven lonely. Just leave that alone and get the things done down here. Who has an ear, let him hear what the Spirit says to the churches, which rings out several times throughout the Bible. Each one of your vertebrae, where the chakra is a church. Okay? The vertebrae, the 7 major vertebrae of the line of your back are the churches. Inside of those vertebrae are nerve centers on the physical level that act as activators for the spiritual center, the chakra. The chakra is not inside the bone on the physical plane, but where you will see it would be in that general area where that vertebrae is, but it's not inside the physical vertebrae. The nerve center is inside the vertebrae. The Spirit, your spirit, will and does speak to each center through you. You begin that in your meditative posture by mentally affirming for your chakra of the heart or solar plexus or third eye, the soma, or the crown chakra, sahasrara, to open. At some point you will hear a tune. Your spirit doesn't speak English always. It speaks with music. And your center will just open. Or you hear a loud or subtle vibration around your crown center. That's your spirit speaking. Broke the 3rd seal, I heard the 3rd living creature saying, "Come." And I looked, and behold, a black horse, and he who sat on it had a pair of scales in his hand. Okay, the living creature, the 3rd living creature, a lion, one who has the face of a calf, I think it's T-A-U-R.
First time.
T-A-U?
Yeah.
T-A-U-R-U-S. One who has the face of a man.
Aries. Aquarius.
And one who has the face of an eagle. The symbolism of 4 living creatures are not creatures, but certain particular powers in spiritual consciousness, pointing a direction of future, eyes before, and eyes behind passed. This is the heart chakra area. Leo, the heart. Taurus is the cerebellum, or the subconscious brain, mind. Taurus. It's in the brain stem and the back of the head. That's Taurus. Aquarius. I think this whole area is where those four living creatures are first introduced as spiritual centers, focusing attention on those. He broke the third seal. I heard the third living creature saying, "Come," and I looked, and behold, a black horse who sat on it and had a pair of scales. 6. And I heard as it were a voice in the center of the four living creatures saying, "A quart of wheat for a denarius, 3 quarts of barley for a denarius, and do not harm the oil and the wine." Wheat and barley would represent spiritual food or spiritual substance. There is a oil of life in your physical body that becomes transmuted in your spirituality. There is an oil in your physical body that becomes transmuted in your spiritual development. There is an oil in your spiritual body that heals in the process of being transmuted. Notice I'm not saying transformed, transmuted, where your chemistry is being changed, raised to a higher dimension of substance. The wine is the substance of exaltation, the substance of joy. It's in your crown chakra. When it opens, flows down, and you get drunk, you get giddy, you get high. It heals while you're in that state. The Sufi practitioner wears a robe dipped in that oil. So when they start to lie or to make a mistake, they suddenly get drunk. And then their spirit, their higher spirit takes over, so they don't make any mistakes. But these substances you have in your spiritual nature. When we get to the crown chakra and the correct meditation, some of you should experience the outflow of that substance from the crown chakra. We'll see about that.